Hey, what's going on out there? Decided to post another video about my Genesis experience. If you're unaware or unfamiliar, just type in the search box on YouTube, Genesis customer service or lack thereof, and you should see two videos. I posted an original one and an update to that. Basically highlights my experience with the service portion of the ownership of my Genesis G70. Without going into too much of the background, you can look that up if you so desire. Basically, I had a meeting back in January of this year, 2024, with the service director at South Point Genesis / Hyundai, because I believe they're both sharing the same space as of this video. And I articulated my issues with the service portion of my experience and some of the issues that I had. He was very sympathetic and he was very attentive to my concerns, and he basically said that he would honor the warranties that I was having trouble getting honored, even though there were clear defects pretty much from the outset. So basically, I had an issue with my headlight condensing on the inside, and the part got ordered, and the part finally came in. We scheduled for a concierge pickup, which we had paid for as part of our ownership. They dropped us a loaner, took the car. They put the light in, and then my other concern was a secondary concern that I had highlighted, which was one of our front parking sensors was basically hyperactive. The thing would go off pretty much anytime, any reason, no matter what. If the key was in the ignition, or should I say if the push button was pushed, then it would go off. And it was just a constant irritation. We had to disable it during the time that we would be in a driving cycle, and then at the end of that driving cycle, if we started again, it would just start all over again. So we also highlighted that as a problem. Well, they tried to say that we never mentioned it before, tried to weasel their way out of it. And of course, I had to inform them that I have paperwork that says I brought that up as a concern. And this service director, service director with whom I had this conversation, and I had told him towards the end of our conversation, oh, by the way, I also have this issue, and it was the parking sensor issue. And he said, oh, that's fine, we can take care of that also. Well, this same person tried to say that we never mentioned it before. Well, that's not true. Not only did I mention it the first time, I have paperwork that says I mentioned it the first time, and what that service technician did in response to that complaint. And the response basically was they couldn't find a problem. But I don't know how any of you are out there, but I tend to know a problem when I see one. And I'm not going to conjure up some faux problem pulling ideas out of the sky when none exists. I just don't do that. So, and then I had to bring up the fact that I spoke with the same individual verbally in person about the issue. Well, it's a good thing I kept my paperwork, I think I mentioned in one of my other videos, keep your paperwork. Well, that served me very well, because had I not had that paperwork, they would have charged me as though I was bringing this vehicle in totally out of any kind of warranty, manufacturer's warranty, any kind of coverage whatsoever. They would have charged me. And so they said, well, we're going to have to look that up and verify that you actually have that. Because I showed him the paperwork, or I gave him the number of because I guess they issue a certain number to every complaint that you have, or every point of concern that you have. And I mentioned the numbers to him, and he said, well, we're going to have to check that out. Okay, fine. Well, a couple of hours later, my wife gets a notification. Not a phone call, not, an apology would have been nice, because he was basically calling me a liar, saying that I was just making something up. They didn't apologize. They basically just told my wife, oh, we found where you guys did bring it up, and we're going to take care of it. Well, fine. And so the vehicle went up. They picked it up, I want to say in early February, and they brought it back, I'd say about a week later. Everything working, and up till now, we've had no further issues with it. But I just want to let you all know that you guys need to be very, very careful when you're making these major purchases, a house, a car, whatever it is. Inspect it. Take the time. You would be served very well by taking the time and looking everything over. If there is a capability, you need to verify that capability is actually functional. Okay, and the sooner the better. The sooner the better. The sooner you jump right on it, the better your chances. Now, you may end up having an issue similar to myself where, they're trying to get out of it, not trying to really be attentive to it, not trying to deal with it because they hope you'll get tired and just throw your hands up and say, the heck with it. Don't. Because in this day and age, with the cost of living basically everywhere going in one direction, and that's upward, you can't afford to just pay for something that you shouldn't be paying for. You can't afford that. Because the minute you do that, you're going to get screwed somewhere else. You're going to really need something, and you're not going to have the money. So don't do it. If somebody owes you a good product, a functional product, a product that meets your standards, hold them to it. Don't let them get away with it. Don't let them try to weasel out of it. I think in some cases it's intentional. I understand that people make mistakes. I understand that people have different skill sets and skill levels within those skill sets. Sometimes it's intentional. And you have to use your best judgment to determine which is which. But what I will say is that don't stop pursuing, because we got our car back. It's functional now the way it was supposed to have been this whole time. And we're good. Now, we'll see if something else pops up. But, I just think that you got to hold these people accountable. You got to hold these businesses that have their hand out asking for your money, hold them accountable. I mean, if they're going to they're going to hold their hands out asking for money, and you decide to do business with them, meaning you're going to place some of your money in their hands, hold them accountable. If something is supposed to work and it doesn't, you bring it to their attention ASAP. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't deliberate. Get it done. Okay? Hold them accountable. Because guess what? When you're paying for something, you're not paying for it in monopoly money. You're not paying for it in make-believe money. You're paying for it in real money. And I believe many of you out there work and sweat for that money. And so hold them accountable, because you're going to get held accountable. I don't see why we can't do this 360 and hold everybody accountable. I don't understand why that, what people are thinking, or why they feel that they're just above accountability. No. You do your things as adults, and you take care of your business as adults. You do the things you're supposed to do. You meet your obligations. Well, make sure everybody else is meeting theirs. That's about the best that I can advise to anybody out there who's looking at a major purchase, and especially, a car and a house. And I bring particular attention to vehicles because of how quickly most of them lose value. They depreciate. Most of them do not hold, well, none of them hold anywhere near the value of a home. They retain value because, they're built on land, and, you can do a lot of different things with land. But when it comes to cars, they depreciate. Even the best, most sought after makes and models depreciate. They might depreciate that. Well, they certainly depreciate less than other vehicles and makes and models, but they all depreciate at one point or another. And so when you're buying something, make sure it works. You're paying for it. Protect your investment. That's the best thing that I can advise. Hopefully I don't have to do any more videos about my Genesis G70. And you all take care out there.